it is Dr. Cinema again, and should we scare kids? I mean, back during like the 70s and the 80s, there are all these movies that were rated G or PG, and so we always thought that was meant for like kids and such. But even in the G ones, there's some pretty dark imagery and themes and stories that could actually pretty much scare kids pretty badly. And this was back when PG actually meant PG, not practically G, like you could claim about those kinds of movies today. And so we have moved on from these G movies that's actually scary and can creep kids out, and we've moved into these a lot more kid-friendly films such as Frozen, Entangled, Brave, all of those movies. And but funny enough, a lot of those G movies that could scare kids and PG movies that could scare kids back then, sometimes they were created by Disney as well. But of course, Disney, of course, creates a lot more kid-friendly stuff. Well, kid-friendly, whatever. But as looking back on these movies, I could see why some parents might be a little bit concerned. But of course, there is these group of people saying that, oh, these PG and G movies back then were so much better than today. They made me who I am. And there might be more truth in that than I originally thought. You see, I mean, yes, those movies back then were scary. They did creep kids out, maybe even kept them up a little bit late at night sometimes. But they always had a message. Like Secret of Nim. That's a kids movie, an anime kids movie that was actually kind of had creepy imagery, probably scared some kids back then, but it had a actually relatable message about today's world and how venturing into the unknown can sometimes be seen as dangerous. It could corrupt people, but it's also saying that we need to move on forward. We need to keep continuing to progress in order to become better as an entire species. Now, of course, they use that for rats, but that also could relate to the real world as well. And if those movies back then were scaring kids, they probably just wanted their message to get across the most effective way possible, and I can respect that. I mean, it's not like they really venture out to go out of their way to scare kids. It's just if that was what was needed in the movie in order to help give strength to the message, and that was what was needed. Now, I'm not saying that G and PG movies today can't actually have messages. The movie Inside Out is very good and has a very strong message for kids that needs to be listened to and be taken to heart. But of course, people are saying that they need to actually be more scary and such. While I don't think kids' movies need to be horror scary in order to get their message across, if it's needed, then I say go for it, but just don't go out of your way to do it, just as long as it fits this movie you're trying to make. So I would like to see a more influx of G and PG movies that can creep kids out, but not just because for the sake of creeping kids out, but so that they can make sure that they get the message that they need to know and learn valuable life lessons that they can learn to do for themselves later on in life. Now, I know this seems a little bit scattered, but basically what I'm trying to say is even though G and PG movies aren't scary like Secret of Nim or whatever, they can still teach kids a lot of lessons. Not saying that the ones back then couldn't, they just had a lot more effective way of doing it. But that doesn't mean that the ones today aren't also effective, so it's your pick. Yes, I know this isn't really horror related, but scary movies are scary movies nonetheless, so I'll take it. So, Dr. Cinema, like, comment, subscribe, share. See you next time.